Hi everybody, this is Sherry here from Sip and Silk. We're going to be making an instructional video right now on one of our most popular wreaths. It's a spring, pink spring flower wreath, but we do it in many different colors. And we're going to start with the deco mesh, which we already have cut up for you. Start with the center, and we do a curling. So in the same direction that the deco mesh is already curling, we just curl it tighter. We put two of them together at one time, and then we take one of the pipe cleaners, wrap it around there pretty tightly. We want to give it 2 or 3 twists, and actually, to make sure that they stay nice and tight, the best way is to grab a hold of where the twist is with your 2 fingers tightly, and then spin the deco mesh, and that kind of puts it like in a vise where it just gets tighter and tighter, almost like a tourniquet kind of thing. So with this we need 12 sets of 2. So you have 12 pieces. I'm going to do 12 of those. Again, we're going to show you each one of them 2 times, I think. We show you how to make it 2 times, but you can always go back and review. These wreaths are a lot of fun, and they look beautiful. Okay, so you have that tied off. The second time, we'll spin it around. Just put these aside. It's usually easier to make all of the pieces first and then apply them to the wreath form. We move on to the white. And with this, we're going to use, with everything else actually, we're going to use until we get to the leaves. This is called the closed petal. We're going to do 2 pieces, one on top of each other, and fold them on a diagonal into a triangle. And then bring each edge to meet the center. And it forms a closed petal. So we put that around. Try to tie the pipe cleaner around the back side. So we want the open petal part to be facing the front. So you can try tying it so that it doesn't really matter, because we can always twist it around, but it's not really a problem. We do the same thing with the white as with the pink. 2 pieces, diagonal fold, and then each of those corners brought down to the middle, and then we grab it there, make sure we have all the ends in there, and wrap that around. Sometimes it's easier to do it while it's on the table, and sometimes it's easier to do it while it's in both of your hands. Again, we spin that so that it stays nice and tight. So we do 18 sets of each one of those, the light pink and the white. Now we move on to the darker pink, and this is called an open petal. So again, 2 sheets of deco mesh, folded diagonally, and instead of folding the corners in, we just scrunch it together and pull up towards the middle a little bit more. That's going to create like a rounded edge to the top. So it's more like an open petal. Again, give that a good twist. Make sure they're on there nice and tight. Also, 18 sets of those. One more time. If you grab it there and you pull together, it will create that rounded edge like that. The further up you gather, the more rounded the edge will be. Just going to tie that around again. 18 times total on that. Now our last fold is going to be the leaf fold, which is 3 pieces of deco mesh, and we're going to make 3 sets of these, so 3 sets of 3. And again, we're going to fold it in half and then just scrunch from the middle to that pointed corner. You can hold that between 2 fingers. Do the same thing 2 more times. Scrunch it towards the middle. Grab it in the middle. So this is the last of them. we'll be ready to assemble. And on this one, with the 3 sets of 3, we're going to use a pipe cleaner directly in the middle to secure them together. And then we're going to use one more pipe cleaner on this, once we have them nice and tight, to bend them in half and hold it in that position. So bend that in half right at the tie. We're going to leave the ends of that tie open so that we can use that to put onto the wreath form. But we're just going to add an extra band around there so that it kind of holds those leaves together. It looks like that. Okay, we're ready to assemble. Here's our wreath form. We have extra pipe cleaners going across the middle. That's what's going to hold the stamen of our flower, the yellow. So we're going to start putting them on, one on each pipe cleaner. So there's 6 total. And it doesn't matter where you put it on there, because until we start getting a lot of the deco mesh onto the wreath form, it's going to remain kind of sloppy, everything moving in the, seems like the wrong direction. We're going to be doing this from the back, so when we lay it on top of the deco mesh, it kind of pushes them all different directions. And as it starts to get filled up with more layers, we can manipulate it around and push them in the direction exactly where we want them to go. But for right now, don't be alarmed if it's looking a little sloppy. You always want to work from the back of the wreath. So from the yellow, we move on to the white, and we want to use the open petal part facing the front. So we're going to use the first metal ring that goes around closest to the middle. And we're going to put in each one of those 6 sections, we're going to put, so 3 white in each section on the first row. And then we're going to do the exact same thing with the light pink, 3 in each section on the second row. As it gets as we get more and more deco mesh on there, it gets a little tighter and tighter, and the workspace gets a little more difficult. But take your time and just give them a few twists once you get them on there. Then they're really, as long as you twist them 2 or 3 times, they're never gonna fall off. So we have all the white done, and that's what it looks like from the front. Again, you can start moving things around, but I really wouldn't worry about too much of that until it's complete. I actually usually put it up on the door or on the hook, wherever it's going to go, and while I can see it at eye level, it's easier to manipulate the pieces around while it's holding onto a hook. Usually I buy the wreath hangers from the Dollar Tree that work perfectly well with this. It just catches on one of the wires. You don't actually need to put any kind of a loop or anything on the wreath form itself. So we go with the pink. Again, 3 in each section. So these are very bright, vibrant colors. You might find that if you are going to put the wreath somewhere where it's going to get a lot of direct sunlight, you might want to buy a can of any type of a UV sealant. It's usually a sealant, like something for patio furniture. So it protects the colors from the UV rays. We don't need it for the sealant because the color will never bleed or stain anything. It's 100% permanent. but it will sun fade if you have it in a lot of direct sunlight. So usually I'll take it, put it out in the grass, and just spray it with a can of UV spray. One can will do probably 25 wreaths, so you don't need much. If you have a can around, just use that. So the last section, besides the leaves, is the open petal, the dark pink. And we're going to skip a row, and we're just going to use the last section, the last ring around the outside. And again, 3 of those in each section. And don't really worry about manipulating them around and making them pretty until we get them all on. This looks a little more difficult than it is because I'm doing it on the tabletop so that you guys can see what's going on. But most of the times I kind of hold this in my lap while I put them on so that I can reach the back and the front at the same time. It just makes it a little bit easier. You might want to do that. You also might want to do this on a hard surface floor. Not on the floor, but in a, wherever you're sitting. Not a place where you have carpeting, because occasionally, unlike when we first cut the deco mesh, I think there's like 130 pieces that we've cut, so we do a lot of the extra work. We already have that done for you, but we get a lot of fraying and little pieces of the deco mesh, and they tend to stick in carpeting. It's hard to sweep or vacuum up, so it's a lot easier if you do it on, a tile floor or something like that. So the last is the green leaves, and we're going to put 3 sections of them on. Now there are 6 crossbars all the way around. The easiest way to do this is to put a section of leaves in every other crossbar, so they'll be completely even then. So you put one on, skip the next section, and hit the next crossbar, skip the next section, hit the next crossbar, and that'll be all 3. And then the last one. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy yourselves. You make something beautiful and you're proud of to hang up. Send us some pictures. And if you need to start this video over and watch again, you can always do that. So I kind of push some of the green leaves forward a little bit because they just stick out a little bit, just an accent color. But now's the time where you'd want to hang it up and go ahead and arrange those leaves, petals and leaves. And sit back and enjoy. Hope we'll see you again soon here at the gallery, or maybe some other take-home projects that we might do.